It starts with something small. You are at the grocery store and run into someone familiar. They smile, call you by name, and you freeze. You know their face, their voice even, but their name has slipped from your mind. You laugh it off, make polite conversation, and walk away. But inside, a quiet worry begins to grow. For many people over 60, forgetting names becomes a regular and unsettling experience. It sneaks up on you. One day you remember everyone's birthday. The next, you find yourself searching for the name of someone you have known for years. It can feel embarrassing, even scary, like a sign that something deeper is changing. But here is the truth. You are not alone, and this does not mean you are losing your mind. In fact, there are simple, powerful ways to support your brain and sharpen your memory, especially when it comes to recalling names. Today, we are going to walk through 4 brain-boosting habits that are easy to start, even if you have already noticed your memory slipping. These tools are gentle, natural, and backed by real science. And best of all, they can help you feel more like yourself again. If you find these stories helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us. And let us know in the comments, what names do you find yourself forgetting the most these days? We would love to hear your experiences and share in your journey. Forgetting names can feel like a betrayal. You meet someone you care about, someone you have known for years, and when the moment comes to greet them warmly, your mind goes blank. It is a frustrating, sometimes even painful experience that leaves you feeling self-conscious and unsure. But the good news is that your brain is not broken, it just needs practice. One of the most effective, yet surprisingly simple tools for improving name recall is something called association training. This technique uses a part of your brain called the hippocampus, which is responsible for forming new memories. And like a muscle, it gets stronger with regular use. Let me tell you about Marilyn, a 68-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She used to be the life of the party. She remembered birthdays, neighbors' names, even the names of her grandchildren's teachers. But over the past few years, she began noticing small slips. She would be at church or the community center and find herself whispering to her husband, "What is her name again?" It shook her confidence. She started avoiding conversations altogether because the fear of forgetting someone's name became too strong. Her daughter suggested she try a memory technique called visual name association. At first, Marilyn was skeptical, but she gave it a shot. Whenever she met someone new or reconnected with someone familiar, she would pick out a distinctive feature and link it to their name. For example, if she met someone named Carol who wore bright red lipstick, she would think, Carol's crimson smile. If a man named Frank had a loud laugh, she would recall, funny Frank. It took effort at first, but something amazing began to happen. After just a few weeks of this simple habit, Marilyn started remembering names again. More than that, her confidence returned. She was no longer afraid to speak up or attend social gatherings. Her brain felt active, alert, and in control. She later said, "I realized it was not about memory loss, it was about memory training." Here is why this works so well. When we pair a name with a visual image or unique trait, we give the brain a second path to retrieve that information. Instead of digging through a mental fog trying to remember Sharon, your mind pulls up the picture of her silver earrings and says, "Silver Sharon." That cue lights up different areas of your brain, reinforcing the memory and making it easier to retrieve later. This kind of active recall also helps combat the normal effects of aging. Our brains naturally lose some processing speed over time, but they do not lose the ability to form new pathways. In fact, studies show that older adults who engage in small, consistent memory challenges retain sharper cognitive function than those who do not. Here is a simple way to practice this daily. Every morning, think of 3 people you know and try to recall their names and something distinctive about them. Make it fun, think of it like a gentle brain stretch. Later in the day, when you talk to someone new or familiar, look for that one thing that stands out and mentally link it to their name. Then, say their name aloud at least twice during your conversation. Even better, write it down later. Writing by hand reinforces memory even more than speaking or typing. You are not just hoping your brain will remember, you are showing it how. And here is another tip. Be kind to yourself. Everyone forgets a name now and then. What matters is not perfection, but engagement. When you notice your memory slipping, do not retreat. Lean in. Smile. Say, "I am sorry, your name just slipped my mind," and then anchor it with a new visual cue. That humility, that courage to stay connected, is itself a kind of brain exercise. It keeps you present. It keeps you growing. Just like Marilyn, you can start this practice today. You do not need a workbook or an app. You just need awareness and a willingness to slow down and notice the people around you in a new, deeper way. In the end, remembering names is not about impressing others. It is about staying connected to your community, your family, and yourself. It is a sign of mental vitality and emotional presence. And the more you practice, the more you will feel your confidence return. Your brain still has remarkable potential. All it needs is the right kind of attention and a few daily habits to guide it forward. Now, let us move to number 2 and explore how your morning meal may be affecting your memory more than you realize. It is easy to think that breakfast is just a routine, something we do without much thought. But after 60, the food you choose in the morning becomes far more important than you might imagine, especially when it comes to your brain. Many seniors experience what is often described as morning fog. You wake up feeling a little sluggish. Words come slower, decisions take longer, and names feel just out of reach. This is not just aging. In many cases, it is your brain asking for fuel. Let us talk about George, a 72-year-old retired electrician from Michigan. For most of his adult life, George skipped breakfast. He would have a cup of coffee, maybe a piece of toast, and head out the door. It never seemed to matter. But a few years into retirement, he noticed that his mornings were getting harder. He would forget why he walked into a room, lose track of what day it was, or find himself staring at his neighbor, trying to recall her name. George assumed it was just part of getting older, but during a routine checkup, his doctor asked him about his eating habits. When George described his usual morning, the doctor paused and said something that changed everything. "Your brain runs on what you feed it. Right now, it is running on fumes." The brain uses about 20% of your body's energy more than any other organ, and after a full night's sleep, it wakes up needing nutrients, especially glucose, to function well. But not all calories are created equal. A sugary donut or a processed breakfast bar might give a quick burst, but they cause a crash shortly after. The key is slow-burning energy foods that release glucose steadily and nourish the brain over time. After learning this, George decided to try a different kind of breakfast. He started each day with a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries, a handful of walnuts, and a boiled egg on the side. He switched his white toast for whole grain and added a cup of green tea instead of just coffee. The change was not instant, but it was powerful. Within 2 weeks, George noticed that his thoughts felt clearer. He could hold conversations more easily, and names started to come back to him faster. His mood improved, and he began to enjoy his mornings again. Here is why this matters. The right breakfast does more than fill your stomach. It directly supports memory, attention, and cognitive speed. Let us look at a few key brain-friendly foods and why they work. 1. Oats and whole grains. These provide complex carbohydrates, which break down slowly into glucose, giving your brain a steady supply of fuel. They also contain B vitamins, which are essential for nerve health and memory. 2. Berries, like blueberries or strawberries. These are packed with antioxidants that protect the brain from aging and inflammation. Studies have shown that seniors who eat berries regularly perform better on memory tests. 3. Walnuts and seeds. These are rich in healthy fats, especially omega-3s, which help build brain cell membranes and support communication between neurons. 4. Eggs. One of the best sources of choline, a nutrient that supports memory and learning. They also provide protein, which helps keep blood sugar levels stable. 5. Green tea. Unlike coffee, which can spike and crash your energy, green tea provides a gentler form of caffeine and contains L-theanine, a compound that promotes focus and calmness at the same time. A well-balanced breakfast like this does not need to be complicated. Even if you are not hungry right away, try starting with something small, a banana with peanut butter, or a smoothie with spinach, yogurt, and berries. The goal is to give your brain the tools it needs to function at its best, especially in the hours when you are most likely to interact with others and need strong recall. Another tip: avoid heavy, greasy breakfasts. Foods like bacon, sausage, or fried pastries might taste comforting, but they tend to slow you down. They can lead to sluggish digestion, which diverts energy away from your brain and toward your stomach. Instead, focus on light, nutrient-dense meals that nourish your whole system. And do not underestimate the emotional power of breakfast. Sitting down to a morning meal can be a form of self-care. It sets a rhythm to your day, tells your body and mind, I am here. I am caring for myself. I am ready to engage. So if you have noticed your memory slipping, especially in the mornings, ask yourself, what are you feeding your brain when it wakes up? Are you giving it the fuel it needs to remember, focus, and think clearly? George would tell you that changing his breakfast changed more than his mornings. It changed the way he felt about aging. It gave him back a sense of control. And you can do the same. It is never too late to support your mind through the small, daily choices that build long-term clarity and strength. Coming up next is point 3, an energizing ritual you can do in just 10 minutes each morning to wake up your brain and sharpen your memory even further. There is something many people over 60 have in common. You wake up, sit on the edge of the bed, and just feel slow. Your body might be stiff. Your thoughts feel a little cloudy. And as you shuffle into the kitchen or reach for your glasses, you notice something else. It is hard to focus. Names, to-do lists, even simple words seem just a little farther away. That mental fog does not mean you are broken. It simply means your brain is still waking up and it needs a little help. Let me introduce you to a 65-year-old retired teacher named Darlene. For decades, she was the sharpest person in the room. She could remember her students' names, their birthdays, even the name of every parent she met during conferences. But a few years into retirement, she started to notice a shift. She would go to the fridge and forget what she needed. She would meet someone familiar and search painfully for their name. It scared her. She tried puzzles, she read books, but nothing seemed to bring back that spark of clarity she once felt every morning. Then one day, she heard something on the radio. A short burst of morning movement can increase blood flow to the brain and sharpen memory. It caught her attention. It was not about weight loss or getting in shape, it was about waking up her mind. That morning, instead of heading straight to the coffee pot, Darlene walked outside. She took 10 slow, steady minutes to stretch, breathe deeply, and let the morning sun hit her face. She raised her arms overhead, rolled her shoulders, took long, deep breaths. She walked gently down her driveway and back. It was not exercise, it was a ritual. Within a week, she noticed something remarkable. Her thoughts were clearer. She remembered names more easily. She felt more present, less scattered. It was not magic, it was science. Here is what was happening inside Darlene's body. During sleep, your blood pressure and circulation slow down. Your brain uses the nighttime to rest, clear toxins, and reset. But when you wake up, especially after 60, your body does not automatically spring into high gear. It needs time. Gentle movement in the morning tells your brain, it is time to activate. It improves oxygen flow. It encourages the release of dopamine and serotonin chemicals that improve mood and attention. Most importantly, it wakes up the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and yes, name recall. Here is a simple 10-minute brain awakening ritual you can start tomorrow morning. 1. Open the curtains or step outside. Let natural light hit your face for at least 2 minutes. Sunlight signals your brain to stop producing melatonin, the sleep hormone, and start producing cortisol in healthy amounts to help you focus. 2. Do a gentle stretch. Raise your arms slowly above your head and take 5 deep breaths. Roll your shoulders back 5 times. Reach for the sky, then gently reach toward your toes. This increases blood flow and signals your nervous system to activate. 3. Walk or march in place for 3-5 minutes. Nothing strenuous, just movement. This pumps oxygen to the brain and helps regulate balance and alertness. Bonus: if you say the days of the week aloud while you walk, You are training your memory and rhythm at the same time. 4. Do one simple memory exercise. Try recalling 5 people you spoke with in the last week. Say their names aloud. Picture their faces. This habit strengthens the memory pathways that store and retrieve names. 5. Finish with calm. Close your eyes for 1 full minute. Place a hand over your chest. Breathe in slowly and say to yourself, I am here, I am clear, I am connected. This entire practice takes 10 minutes or less, but the benefits can last the whole day. Darlene started doing this every morning. She said it became her favorite part of the day, not just because it helped her memory, but because it gave her back a sense of purpose. I feel like I am starting my day on my terms again, she said, and I remember names without that panic feeling. Many seniors report the same transformation, not just improved clarity, but a sense of calm confidence. Because when your brain starts the day strong, it carries that momentum forward. And do not worry if you miss a day. The goal is consistency, not perfection. Even 3 mornings a week can make a difference. What matters is that you are sending a message to your brain. You are not shutting down, you are opening up. Remember, memory is not about clinging desperately to the past. It is about staying connected to yourself, to others, and to the present moment. And sometimes all your brain needs is 10 minutes of loving attention to find its way back to clarity. Let us now look at the 4th and most surprising brain booster, a gentle, often overlooked secret that can help you remember names with greater ease by simply changing the way you interact with others. There is a quiet moment that many people over 60 have experienced, one that often goes unnoticed by others, but stays with you long after it happens. You are at a small gathering, maybe a church group or a birthday celebration. Someone approaches you with a smile, greets you warmly, and says, "It is so good to see you again." Your heart sinks. You know you have met them before, perhaps more than once. But their name, their story, it just will not come to you. You nod, smile, and hope they do not notice the hesitation in your eyes. If you have had moments like this, you are not alone. And you are not failing. In fact, what you might be missing is not memory but connection. Let me tell you about Judith, a 70-year-old woman from North Carolina. Judith was always social. She loved chatting with neighbors, volunteering at her local library, and hosting tea for her bridge group. But after her husband passed, she withdrew. Not entirely, but enough to feel the difference. Fewer outings, fewer phone calls, more time alone. After a few quiet months, Judith noticed something unsettling. She began forgetting names more often. People she had known for years, names of her friends' grandchildren, even the names of her favorite authors. She felt embarrassed, and at times, even ashamed. But then one afternoon she ran into an old friend at the market. They had not seen each other in nearly a year. "Judith!" her friend exclaimed, arms wide, smiling brightly. Without hesitation, Judith said, "Susan, it has been too long." And just like that, the name was there. That moment changed something for her. She realized she did not have a memory problem. She had a practice problem. Names are not stored in isolation. They are held together with emotion, experience, and interaction. When we pull away from people, we also pull away from the web of connections that supports our memory. Here is the surprising truth. The more socially engaged you are, the easier it is to remember names. And this is not just about chatting at parties. It is about intentionally using people's names out loud, listening closely when they speak, and making an effort to connect the name with something meaningful. Researchers have found that the brain holds on to emotionally relevant information better than neutral facts. When you care about someone or feel something in the moment of meeting them, you are more likely to remember them. That is why casual greetings often slip your mind, while emotionally rich conversations stick. Judith began a new habit. Every time she met someone new or familiar, she would do 3 things. Say their name out loud, twice. Instead of just smiling and nodding, she would say, "Nice to see you, Michael. Michael, have we met at the community center before?" Saying the name aloud anchors it in your auditory memory. Ask one personal detail. She might say, "Remind me, do you still have that big yellow lab?" Or, "Did you say you used to live in Denver?" This makes the interaction deeper and it gives your brain a second thread to hold on to. Use their name again when saying goodbye. Lovely talking with you, Michael. I hope we run into each other again soon. Over time, something amazing happened. Judith's memory improved, not just with names, but with dates, stories, and even book titles. Her confidence grew. She started initiating conversations again, attending events, and calling old friends. She often said, "The more people I speak to, the more of myself I remember." This is the real secret. Memory lives in connection. When we speak names, when we use them in meaningful moments, we reinforce those neural pathways. And when we are emotionally engaged, our brain considers that information more important, making it easier to retrieve later. Here are some gentle ways to boost your social memory, even if you are introverted or not feeling very social right now. Join a small group with regular members, such as a walking club, reading circle, or weekly hobby class. Repetition helps names stick. Keep a name and story notebook. After each social encounter, jot down the person's name and something about them. Revisit it once a week. This turns short-term memory into long-term knowledge. Say names in conversation with your spouse, children, or friends. I saw Barbara today. She said her grandson is starting college. This verbal practice locks in the memory and keeps your social world active in your mind. Smile when you say someone's name. This small act releases a hint of dopamine, the feel-good chemical that also helps with focus and learning. And finally, remember this. Forgetting a name is never a sign that you are fading. It is simply a reminder to engage a little more deeply, to listen a little more closely, and to speak with intention. Judith would say that the moment you start using names again, you start reclaiming a part of yourself. It is not about having a perfect memory. It is about staying present in the world, open to others, and kind to your beautiful working brain. Now let us take a moment to reflect on everything we have covered and close with a few final thoughts that will leave you feeling hopeful and inspired. Forgetting names after 60 can feel unsettling, but it is not a signal to give up. It is a gentle nudge to lean in, to care for your brain with love and patience. Whether it is practicing recall, choosing nourishing foods, moving with purpose, or reconnecting with others, each habit is a step toward clarity. Your mind is still capable of growing, remembering, and shining. Every small effort is a gift to your future self. Do not focus on what you have, lost focus on what you are still building. You are not alone in this journey, and there is still so much ahead to remember. Which of these brain boosters are you most excited to try first? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support helps us continue creating content that inspires, uplifts, and empowers. Thank you for being here with us today.